So I was on CNN yesterday morning. We talked a little bit about it. In fact, maybe at the end of this, I'll tell you a funny Wolf Blitzer story. But I was on and I was talking about the Jeffrey Epstein saga and how there clearly are some Republicans, MAGA supporters, who are upset and or disappointed with the administration's, in their view, mishandling of all of this. And I agree it was mishandled from the start. We've talked about it. We don't need to relitigate. But I pointed out that Democrats who are suddenly interested in Jeffrey Epstein are only doing this in bad faith so that they can try to create a bigger riff with Trump and his supporters. That's the only reason.
I don't know if they'll ever accept what be released, but I do think that ultimately this starts to die down. This is not a storyline that's going to last much longer than probably this week, which is precisely why strategically Democrats all of a sudden have shown interest in this. And now they're demanding that the files be released. They're only doing that. They're doing it in bad faith. They're doing it because they think it's going to create more distrust within the movement. Ultimately, I think that actually hurts them, because I don't know how many MAGA base members are going to say, yes, I support what Pramila Jayapal and Eric Swalwell are saying. I'm on their side. So actually, I think they're hurting their own cause. They would have been better just to step back and let this just unfold, but they decided to get involved. And I think, weirdly, that's pushing people away from wanting to talk about this as much as maybe they otherwise would have.
So I clearly mentioned Pramila Jayapal there. So kudos to our friend, my new bestie, Pamela Brown, who did this interview with me yesterday on the Situation Room. Because she then had, based on my interview, she had on Pramila Jayapal. And it was embarrassing how it went. Like, it was truly embarrassing.
Follow up. If you see such a need to investigate this, why didn't you raise it during the Biden administration? I mean, we couldn't find that you made any public comments about Epstein in previous administrations.
Well, I would have been happy to raise it then as well. Frankly, we were focused on so many different pieces, but I have been one of the Democrats that has been.
Now, can someone answer a simple question? So Pam asks, why didn't you raise it back then? And her response, Primila's response is, oh, I would have been happy to raise it back then. But you didn't raise it back then. Oh, but I was busy. Okay. You're not busy now? You're not busy now? All you do is tweet all day. And I said this yesterday. I went and I looked at her Twitter account and I looked up just the term Epstein, the word Epstein. She had like one or two tweets in 2019, and then she was completely silent until this week. Why do you think that is? I mean, she says she's so passionate about this. Oh my God, she's so passionate. Have you ever heard someone so passionate about Jeffrey Epstein? It's just absolutely absurd. And so let's listen to a little bit more.
To be released under the Trump administration.
And I know you have your part. You said you put out a tweet. There are other Democrats as well calling for this, and Republicans, we should note, including the Speaker of the House, saying there should be more transparency. But President Trump, for his part, is just focusing in large part, not just on Democrats. He is focusing also on his allies, but he is saying that this is BS made up by Democrats. He's calling some of his supporters weaklings for buying into it, saying he no longer wants their support. What do you make of that?
I think he's hiding something, and he's just pouring fuel on the fire. Look, most of us didn't start calling for some of this until the president started denying that there was anything to release, until Pam...
Wait, hold on. Didn't she say she'd been wanting it released for years? The only thing, she was just busy, otherwise she would have called for it earlier, but she's wanted it released for years.
Bondi denied that there was anything to release. And so it is the hypocrisy of this president as he says, all of a sudden now there's nothing that we need to deal with, when he himself has called for this before. So I think he's just pouring fuel on the fire of what is it that he's hiding that he feels the need to now criticize his own base of people, by the way, Republicans, as you point out, including the House Speaker, who say, yeah, let's just release it. If there's nothing to hide, just release it. Don't make excuses by saying, why are people focusing on this? They're focusing on it because your base made it an issue. You yourself called for it, and it now looks like you are hiding something. So if you've got nothing to hide, release the files.
And he has said that he was briefed by Pam Bondi. He said it was short and that he's been given no indication that he was in there. But of course, like I pointed out, both Republicans and Democrats are calling for more transparency, which is clearly irking the president.
Now, here's the part where I love the most. And I want everyone to acknowledge that I'm turning CNN just a little bit more conservative. You heard the clip in more context from yesterday. Listen to this. This, again, is where Pramila Jayapal is there doing her interview from the halls of Congress.
I want to get your response to this conservative radio host we spoke to who mentioned your name. His name is Jason Rantz, and he is arguing Democrats are acting in bad faith. So I want to make sure you can respond. Here's what he said on the show.
They're doing it because they think it's going to create more distrust within the movement. Ultimately, I think that actually hurts them, because I don't know how many MAGA base members are going to say, yes, I support what Pramila Jayapal and Eric Swalwell are saying. I'm on their side. So actually, I think they're hurting their own cause.
How do you respond to that?
Well, good. Then he shouldn't worry about it. I mean, look, we're all speaking to the bases we have.
How is that an answer to the question? So I make a point. They're acting in good faith. Good. Then he shouldn't worry about it. I'm not worried. Do I seem worried? I'm just calling out her hypocrisy while she's pretending that she's calling out hypocrisy. But now let's listen to her just flat out lie.
It's important for my base to hear me talk about transparency. I think I have a lot of Republicans. They come to my town halls. They listen to what I say. They don't necessarily agree with everything I say, but they do agree on transparency.
Yeah, there's not a single Republican who comes to your town hall.
There's only like 2 that live in her entire district.
And I'm one of them, and I've never been to her town hall. Like, really? She's just lying. Oh, it's like saying, there are a whole bunch of Jews who are against Israel and support Hamas. Really? Oh, yeah, the Jewish Voices for Peace people. Yeah, they're not really Jews. Some of them literally aren't Jews who pretend to be Jews. There's no way that Republicans are showing up as like, you know what, Pramila? You argue in good faith, at least. I may disagree with you 9 times out of 10. Or I guess to hear Pramila Jayapal say, I may disagree with you 7 times out of 10, but the 7 times I disagree, I know you're doing it in good faith. What a liar. What a liar. Oh, I do like the idea, though, that I came onto CNN to make my point. I went to Pramila Jayapal's house, and I peed right on that carpet of hers. And she got called out by Pamela and had to respond to it. You think she wanted to share any airtime with me?
No, that's the closest you'll ever get to being her interlocutor.
I know. I will say, she used to come on the show until she became a virulent anti-Semite, and then I called her out for it. Maybe she thought I was self-loathing Jew because I'm self-loathing, but maybe she thought it was because I'm a Jew that I'm self-loathing. And the second that we dispelled that, she stopped coming on.